Love lives here.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And what a beautiful song to sing right before and to recognize Mother's Day and what that means, because that's the first person that we ever love is our mothers, the voice that we hear through the womb. And so I want to honor this sacred day in gratitude and love and deep recognition of mothers, but also the people who mothered us, the people in our community, the people in our families. And maybe your mother was absent, but your father was there and took on that role of mother. Maybe it was an aunt or an uncle or someone in your life that took on that role of nurturing, of love, and acceptance. And so we recognize that today, as we should recognize it every day. So today we're honoring the power of community, and that includes our mothers. Our communities is what shaped us. The title today is Community Builds Confidence, and look at the little boy. Isn't he confident? He's ready. He's a superhero. All right. So the first community that we ever experience is our family. And from there, we branch out into friendships, into our school, our neighbors, our neighborhoods, our spiritual communities, and then our workplaces. And this circle that we've been in, calling community, all these things that I've said, they shape us. They leave an imprint on us. And the imprint is the truth that community builds confidence. So having said all that, I invite you to take a breath. So community builds confidence. And so I looked up the history, and it says the history of community is really the history of humankind itself, humanity itself. It's because long before there were governments and corporation and written language, people survived through connection, through cooperation, and shared identity. Every human community are organized, and what is organized around is maybe hunting, gathering, surviving, children rearing, and spiritual rituals, if you look in the past. And now, spiritual ritual. So as human beings, we depend on each other, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So I looked up this sociologist, and he says that his name is Ferdinand Tönnies, and he described in two social organizations. One, community is rooted in close relationships, truth, family, and shared values. And society is a larger system built more around institutional individualization. And so what they begin to recognize as people begin to grow is that as we progressed, things got fragmented in our lives. Maybe we began to feel disconnected from what we most held dear. Loneliness can set in, and disconnection. I watch a lot of YouTube stories, and there's this Native American tribe way over in Alaska somewhere, very remote. And what the elders are fearing is that their language will be lost, because as the kids grow up, they want to move out. They don't want to stay in the small villages. They want to move out in the communities and in the cities. And so what that causes is a disconnect. So, and because people thrive when they're together, and when there's positivity, and people thrive when they feel seen and supported, encouraged, and connected. Like we do here, we say, first we started off with you belong, and now it's we belong. Because really, that's the core principle. We say love lives here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, now where we belong. We are a community, and we belong. No one is outside of that. So what does community do? It gives identity. It gives us resilience. It gives us healing. And it reminds us that we are not alone. So spiritual communities offer something deeper, a shared purpose. I would say we have a shared purpose here, wouldn't you? So Ernest Holmes reminds us that we awaken more fully through recognizing our interconnectedness and shared humanity. And Holmes also taught that there is one life expressing through all creation, and that we are each, of course, I say it all the time, individualized expression of that one. So I'm saying all this to tell you that when we talk about community builds confidence, one thing that when we were going through practitioner training up at CSL Menifee, one of the things they did is they supported us. So we got to get up on the platform and say, the welcome or whatever it was. They fostered in us confidence as we were beginning to step out and do practice sessions and doing all that. All through our schooling, we were able to participate in the service by, doing something on the platform. And that builds confidence. So on Wednesday, I had the privilege of participating in the National Day of Prayer at the Culver Center downtown Riverside as part of the Interfaith Council. And I tell you that because what stood out the most to me is the inclusivity. And we talk about it here, but I actually got to see it in action. So what was represented was Native Americans, the Baha'i, the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, Temple Beth El, the Muslim community was there, Christians, Catholics, Unitarian, Universalists, Sikhs, Buddhists, Hindu, Unity, Wiccan, and others, right there in the same room, getting along, sharing this thing that we call the National Day of Prayer, and praying in our own voices. And that's important, that you're able to speak with your own voice. And so it was demonstrated. It wasn't just spoken about. You get around the table with the Interfaith Council, we talk about how we're going to make a difference in the community, this, that, and the other, and how we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we never get out of the meeting room. But that's not what I witnessed here in Riverside at that Interfaith National Day of Prayer, where faith and religions were widely recognized there, and we're praying for our community, our city, our government, all of that. Our first responders here. So I got to see it in action. And so when I talk about our global vision, a world that works for everyone, it's not just possible, but it's already unfolding as we lift our consciousness, as we gather with other different faiths, and we can talk peace, we can talk unity, and we can go out and spread that in our community. So you just had to be there. Corey was there, right, Corey? And it was a beautiful event. I'm just in awe of so many different faith and religious organizations that came out to speak a word of prayer for our community. And so it reminds me that people of different beliefs can still stand together in respect and a shared humanity and the love for our community. And it affirmed to me that all communities, every community, is sacred. And so I just wanted to bring that together in this talk today and connect it with our community here and connect it with mothers, because our mother was the first community that we were ever a part of. So it's kind of interesting how, to weave all those things together and then to have a demonstration on Wednesday of community. Everybody stepped up. It was musical. It was beautiful. So on this Mother Day, I want to remember that our mothers was our mentors, our teacher, our guides, taught us how to nurture, taught us how to look for community, and because it was demonstrated to us. So looking in a mirror and seeing what is reflected back is exactly what was demonstrated to you, to all of us. And so community is very important. It's a confidence builder. Confidence is born in community, in cooperation, and in the presence of love. It's reflected through love. Something we may not be able to, something we cannot see yet, our brilliance, but someone else can. How many of you can see the brilliance in other people and tell them and not look back in the mirror and see the brilliance in yourself? I know I'm guilty of that. I don't know about you. I can't speak for anyone else. You can see someone's strength. You can see their light. And you can see that they believe in you. So that's what I really want to get across today, that our community, it builds confidence, and we take that information and we reflect it back to our community. But first we have to find it within ourselves. And the community helps to nurture that and foster that. I believe in you. I believe in you. In Science of Mind, we understand that we are expressions of the one life, and Holmes taught that all people are an individualized expression of spirit. So when I affirm that I recognize the divine in you, I'm recognizing your light. And I'm hoping that that light is going to then be reflected back to me. It's a give or take. It's a reciprocal, this universe, it's reciprocal nature. It's a give and take. Community encourages our spiritual nourishment. It's sacred. And just as our body needs food, our soul needs affirmation, support, and connection. And so that's what we find in our communities. And it fosters and nourishes our self-belief. It builds self-belief, helps us to build it. And we build it in relationship. We build it in laughter, being seen. We're going to do something in a couple of weeks that's going to foster more community, more laughter, more love when we do our G for G, our Gourmets for Good. So please, next week, sign up, bid, get to know one another. And a lot of us already do, but when we're away from our centers and we're laughing and just we're kind of opening up to that love, without restricting ourselves. So I'm really looking. So when our communities consistently reflect our love and our worthiness, then we begin to believe that idea of possibilities, that we can change our thinking and change our life. One of the fastest ways to strengthen your own confidence is to help someone else's rise. And so we rise together here. We speak life into other people, and they speak life into us. So I would say be mindful of who you're with. If someone can't speak confidence in you, I would let that person go. I don't know, have anybody here ever had people in their life that they could take a compliment, but they would never give one? Or maybe a one-sided relationship where that person is just telling you everything, like when you're on the phone with someone and you can't get a word in edgewise, it's all about them. So it's important who we surround ourselves with. If your community is not building your confidence, then maybe you're in the wrong community. So just let's lift one another up. We here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, that's why we do the things the way we do things. Rev Jeff and we want to hear what you have to say about these things, about your life, about what's going on in the world. We want to hear about it. We want your voices to be heard and not just us up here going, wah, 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 wah. You never get to say anything, or you never get to share your experiences and to share these principles and teachings and how they have changed your life. All these things we can put in our toolbox. Every week we come and we get tools for thriving. And it's not just something that we want to write down because we want to be practicing it, and we want our community to be practicing so we can grow and rise together. So today, let's honor ourselves, our community, and let's continue to build each other up and help each other grow. And let's take that energy, all that love out into our own homes, our own communities, away from here, and let that love just ripple out in the world. And that's really all I want to say today. So thank you for listening, and now we can go to our tables, and there are 3 questions on the table that I would love for you to contemplate with each other. All right, I'll see you back. All right, so now I just want to say, when a community consistently reflects love, worthiness, possibilities, and belonging, we begin to think differently about ourselves. And as our thinking changes, our lives change. We rise when we lift others up. And remember that even the smallest, simplest moments of connection can become sacred. All right. And so our spiritual practice to this week is that, so this week, tell someone one thing you admire about them. And not just surface level or casual. Tell them that what strength you see in them, what light they carry, and what beauty they bring. And so it is. But before we go to prayer, I know we changed things around in the service. So I just invite the practitioners and the leadership council to please stand. And just around the sanctuaries, we're going to go into a prayer. Now, this prayer is a prayer that I did for the National Day of Prayer, and I want to bring it and share it with you. On this sacred day, we pause as one people, joined not by one faith, but by a sacred spirit, a spirit of peace, compassion, and hope. Across this nation and this National Day of Prayer, National Day of Prayer should be every day. Every day is a day of prayer. People of many traditions come together in prayer and reflection, united in a common intention of the good for all. We recognize the presence of the divine by whatever name you call it, moving through all life, guiding all hearts and uniting all souls. There is one source, one infinite intelligence that breathes through every tradition, every prayer, every act of love. This presence is not bound by religion or nation. It is a universal thread of truth and still that still small voice within and the light that never goes out. Today I affirm that this presence is alive in our nation and in all people. I call forth wisdom in our leaders, healing in our communities, and peace in our world. I affirm that the hearts of humanity are opening to greater compassion, greater understanding, and a deeper respect for one another. And in this sacred moment, we widen the circle of care. We recognize and uplift our beloved brothers and sisters who live on the street, those who are often unseen, yet never outside of the embrace of divine love. We align and affirm that there is dignity. Where there has not been discard, support them where they are, where they stand in their struggle. We support them as a community coming together as one. Where there is division, I affirm reconciliation. Where there is fear, I call forth courage. Where there has been pain, I call and speak healing. I know that no prayer goes unheard and that the collective intention of love has the power to uplift and transform. Let this day be a renewer of our highest ideas, a redirection to unity, to kindness, and to the dignity of every soul. From spiritual living centers, churches, and temples, from mosque and other faith traditions and habits, from living rooms to city parks, let us stand together in prayer. We are one with the source of God, one with the source of love, and we unite in this day in prayer and love, and together we say, and so it is. So it is. Now it's time for us to stand and say our affirmation together. I will say it first, and you can say it after me. I believe in myself because Spirit believes in me. Let's say that together. I believe in myself because Spirit believes in me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. I receive it. And I move love forward because love lives here. Happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you.